Welcome to David Galata Book Dreamer. I'm David Galata, and all my books are based on my dreams, such as Crew of Ganges and Clockmaker. Today, I really want to talk about last weekend's event. I started off my book signing season with C. Simpson's Used Bookshop in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, and right in the West End Plaza. It's very easy to find. It's right off 209. And I like that shop. I really do. I like that bookshop. It's a great bookshop, and the owner is wonderful. She really does a lot to help out local authors. And if you're looking for the local authors of this area, she's the one to go to. Now, I say that with absolute sincerity. She is the one to go to. So I started this year with an event at her place, and it was during Father's Day weekend. So of course there weren't a lot of people shopping so much as there were people going out and about and doing things, celebrating the weekend. So it wasn't a big crowd, but the crowd was apparently delighted with what I was doing. So I ended up selling very, very nicely, doing a lot of good sales at it, and sold a bunch of books, sold some posters, saw some of my fans, some of my readers who really enjoy my work, and also made new friends and new readers who were purchasing my work, curious about what I'm doing. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. This is basically advice for self-published authors. I don't really do a lot with things like Amazon advertising. I do some, a little bit, you know, and it's all, per click and all that stuff. And all right, whatever. The more you pay for it, the more it's seen, the more, you pay per click. I get it. You know, it just doesn't really thrill me. And it really is like howling into a hurricane because you're competing with tens of thousands of other books that people are throwing all kinds of advertising money into, especially the ones who are already famous and have some money to throw at it. For those of us who are not celebrities, it's a little more difficult. We got to start from scratch. And that's the other thing. I really enjoy the whole idea of doing fairs. My next event is going to be at the West End Fairgrounds. That'll be July 29th and 30th, last weekend in July, at the Canamed Festival. And I am there because my one of my characters in Crew of Ganges does grow cannabis for medical purposes for the ship. All right, so apparently I'm in. Plus, my fantasy work is really unusual, very fable-like, and yet not very traditional in terms of fantasy works. So I'm a little bit of a fringe writer, which is great because I'm putting out stuff that's brand new. But I am more excited about festivals than I am with any kind of advertising. I've got a Goodreads account. Yes, I do. Do I do much with it? No, because again, it's like howling into a hurricane. There's 10,000 others who are screaming their names out there, and it's difficult to gain any traction. And I've seen new authors in particular, and I consider myself new. I mean, I've got 7 novels self-published. I've been working on this for several years, but it's less than 10 years. So to me, I'm still very new to this career, this business. Well, what I've noticed is a lot of the online services, like online advertising and online book sites, there's just so much in there that you are lost in the storm. You're a snowflake in the blizzard. So what do you do? How do you get your name out there? How do you get people to try your book out when they've got 10,000 books being slammed into their face every single day? Festivals. That's how. You go to fairs and festivals. You set up your booth, you get your books out on the table, and you make yourself available to the public. That's the only way. And you've got to be enthusiastic about it. You can't just sit there and be, no, no, no. You're not going to sell anything. People are going to be like, wow, you're really uncomfortable. Okay, we're just going to leave you alone. They're just going to walk on by. They're going to walk on by. You have to take the initiative of saying, hi, good morning. Hi, how you doing today? Good evening. How's it going? You have to be able to talk to strangers. And you have to be welcoming. You have to be smiling. You've got your books out. You want to be enthusiastic. This is the thing you love, right? This is the thing that you love. You wrote a book about it or more, for those of us who have more than one novel. You are a writer. You are an author. You should be enthusiastic about your books. You should be absolutely in love with them and you want the whole world to know. If you're not, get into another business. People respond to that love. They respond to your enthusiasm. And then they come forward and they will purchase a book from you. They'll take a chance. Tell them what it's about. Point out what sets you apart from other writers in your genre. Talk about your plot lines. Talk about your characters. Give them all a synopsis because that's really going to help. If you don't do this, people are just going to walk away. They're just going to walk away. Okay. But I have found that fairs and festivals very rarely have authors doing signings at the festival. Most authors are either looking for book conventions. Okay. Again, you're a guppy in a pond full of guppies. Uh, People looking for book conventions, comic cons, things like that. Well, okay, again, it's a big venue where you're going to have to work extra hard to stand out. This is already a difficult thing to be doing. Don't make it more difficult for yourself. Try to find outside venues. Now, I do use my local used bookstores because the new bookstores have all fled. They're gone. Okay. And Barnes and Nobles, I don't like their policies. I'll be honest with you right there. I don't care for their policies. I do not like the way they treat their authors. I know people who love them. I'm not one of them. And quite honestly, half of the Barnes and Noble stores I've seen, half of them have nothing to do with books. It's baby toys and loungewear, and what is this? It's a coffee shop, and oh yeah, we got a section of books here. It used to be you walk into Barnes and Noble, it was wall to wall books. Those days are gone. So I'm not even going to bother with that. I like to go to the non-traditional venues, the smaller shops, and festivals and fairs that are not based necessarily on books, but will accept someone selling books. And local county fairs is a great way to go. You're going to meet a lot of people. And that's the best way to sell your books, not through advertising, but through selling directly to your readers, selling directly to your customers. They're the ones who are going to tell their friends about it. People are going to ask, wow, look at that book on your table there. What is it? That's a big book. Or they'll look at this one and go, wow, interesting cover. What is this? And they'll tell their friends gladly. They'll be very happy to tell their friends, oh yeah, this is this author. He writes this, he does this, and I've been really enjoying it. That makes people curious. Now they're not looking for ads. They're looking for your name. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for your name. And I have found the best way of getting your name out there is to work directly with customers. I've seen a lot of people, both in the arts, it's in the visual arts as well as in writing, sit there dreading selling their works directly to people like it's some kind of dirty thing that you shouldn't do. No, wrong. This is how you're going to get your name out there. This is how you're going to get your work out there, is by being available. to the people who might appreciate your work. And quite honestly, it's the average person. I'm not looking for millionaires to fall in love with me, okay? That's the visual arts thing, and it leads to bananas being stapled to canvases. Okay, that's what that leads to. I'm not going there. I refuse to go there. And the general public finds all that absolutely disgraceful and laughable and stupid, and they're quite correct. The emperor wears no clothes. Okay? So, here in this situation, I'm just looking for people who might be curious. They go, "Oh, books. Hi, would you like to come over and check these out?" You're not going to find these in the stores. You're not, I'm on Amazon. You can get me from there. You can look me up on Goodreads, but I'm also at this little shop nearby, and I'm here. I'm right here. I got special prices. Yet don't be cheap. Give them a nice discount on the books, okay? All right? Don't be cheap about it. Give them a nice discount on these books. I've heard my prices are very reasonable. And then they look at my sale prices and say I'm insane. Hey, I'm still making a couple of bucks per book. That's good enough. That's good enough. That's better than most big names out there working with Simon and Schuster making, 50 cents a book at the most. I'm still doing better than that. You want to reach out to the people in your area. You want to reach out to people who come visiting from other areas to come to a festival, a county fair, to come to a, big, public to do, you want to be there. You want to be there. Hey, if you write cookbooks, go to the garlic festival, go to the, sausage festival, go to the, the Italian food festival. Yes, do that and sell your cookbooks there. Okay? And that also means you have to be able to speak with the people who make these events happen. And you need to be able to convince them that your books fit into their venue. And this year I'm going to be at the CannaMed Festival, and I'm also going to be, that's a 2-day event, but a month later, actually not even, like 3 weeks later, I am going to be at the West End Fair in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, which sees thousands of people a day and goes on for 7 days. I will be there with my books. I will be right there. Now, out of 1,000 people, if I can get, 20 of them to buy one of my books, and my numbers are better than that, then after 7 days, how many people are now reading my books? How many people have heard my name, have seen my covers, and are interested? So be a good salesman by being just genuine and being yourself. Just take the shyness, okay, and dial that down to 3. Take enthusiasm and dial that up to 11. Okay, never mind 10. You want to go up to 11. Just be enthusiastic about your own work. Stand by your work. That's what people want to see. Are you shying away from your own work? In which case they're going to go, wow, that must be awful stuff. I mean, even the author doesn't like their own stuff. You don't want to look like that. Okay? And if you're publishing, especially if you're self-publishing, you should be able to stand by your work. You should be able to be proud of your work because you've done your job by producing as good a book as possible. That's your job. Now, you're not going to worry about little mistakes here and there, but you are going to be careful about contradictions. You're going to be careful about, things that are messed up with a plot line. You don't want any of those kinds of mistakes. You want to have a nice narrative for these books so that they're enjoyable to read. You want characters who have different voices so that they're believable and people will care about them. These are basics for anyone who's an author. Okay? Or they should be. That's what I believe. They should be. But you need to be able to stand by your books and say, yes, this is an excellent story. This is a crazy story. This is something different, something unusual. And prove it to them. Talk to them about it. Tell them about it. And they will purchase. They will give it a try, especially if you're giving them a good price. They will give it a try. And now you're not screaming into a hurricane. because your customers are right in front of you. They're right there in front of you. And that is worth more than anything else. So keep that in mind. I really don't use a lot of online advertising. I don't use a lot of advertising, period. I rely on word of mouth and satisfying my readers with a good product. That's what I do. And when I'm at fairs and festivals, I'm enthusiastic and I tell my shyness to go bye-bye just for while I'm at the fair. And I enthusiastically explain my product to my customers because that's what you're doing. You're selling a product, a book to customers. That's what you're doing. If you're not comfortable with that, find another business to be in. Okay? You're writing a book and you want to get the word out about the book. That means you're going to have to do the legwork. Okay? And it's really not as hard as it seems. It's not. Once you start getting used to it, it's great. It's like riding a bike. Once you learn how to do it, you don't have to do it for years. You can hop right on and there you go. You're off. Okay. This is the case in terms of selling your books as well. So hope you've enjoyed this. Next week, we will be back here on YouTube and talking more about my science fiction world and some of the crazy ideas that are backgrounds for the Crucible Spirals trilogy. Till then, I hope you have a wonderful week and happy reading, everyone. Take care.